The stars shimmered over the endless void of space. The Galactic Empire's massive fleet glided silently, dark ships like shadows against the distant light of planets. Commander Varlan stared at the main view screen, his face cold and tense. Reports had come in of human ships entering the nebula expanse, a region they considered dangerous and unpassable. Humans. Here, Varlan muttered, his voice tight. His officers exchanged uneasy glances. None had seen humans act so boldly before. Intelligence said humans were primitive, disorganized, and easy to scare. But this report suggested otherwise. A whole squadron of their ships was moving toward the Empire's outpost without hesitation. Inside the human flagship, Captain Mara smiled as she watched the Empire's ships appear on the radar. Her crew laughed quietly, but their laughter was sharp and confident. "Looks like someone forgot to read the warnings," she said, her eyes glinting with amusement. Her crew chuckled louder, tapping controls and preparing for what they called Empire practice. The Empire's ships surrounded the human vessels, trying to intimidate them with formation and firepower. Giant warships twisted and turned, making threatening maneuvers. Varlan's voice boomed over the comms. "Surrender immediately, humans, you are outmatched. You cannot survive against us." But the humans only laughed, and the laughter echoed across space. The Empire's officers stared at the screens in disbelief. "Why are they laughing?" One whispered. Another shook his head. "They should be terrified." Captain Mara leaned back in her chair, tapping her fingers lightly on the console. "Fear. We don't know them, and they don't know us. Let them try to scare us. We've faced worse in the outer colonies." Her crew smirked, readying their weapons, but calm, confident, unshaken. Varlan's fingers tightened around the command console. The human's confidence felt like a challenge, a mockery. He had been trained to break enemies, to crush fear before it could spread. But these humans, they didn't even flinch. Instead, they laughed, as if the Empire itself were a joke. And in that moment, Mara issued a simple order: engage defensive formation, but hold your fire. The humans glided through the nebula expanse like they owned it, weaving through the shadowed clouds of gas and dust. Their laughter still carried on the comms, piercing the Empire's attempts at intimidation. Varlan clenched his jaw, watching the humans maneuver skillfully. Every tactic he had prepared seemed useless. Every threat he issued was met with amusement. His officers felt a strange unease. The confidence of humans was contagious, and even the strongest warriors felt a ripple of doubt. The first shockwave of the encounter was about to begin, but neither side had fired a single shot, and already the stage was set. Humans laughing in the face of the Galactic Empire. The Empire underestimated them, but Captain Mara knew one thing clearly. Today would be remembered in history. The tactical D&C, the human ships moved like shadows through the nebula expanse. Their sleek hulls reflected the faint light of distant stars. Commander Varlan gritted his teeth, watching their every move. "They are unpredictable," he muttered. "Impossible to trap." Inside the human flagship, Captain Mara's crew worked like a single mind, their fingers flying across controls, plotting paths through clouds of ionized gas. "Adjust formation. Small sweep to the left," Mara ordered calmly. Her second-in-command nodded, executing the maneuver with perfect precision. The Empire's ships lunged forward, trying to encircle them. Their massive energy cannons hummed ominously, sending waves of pressure through space. But the humans twisted and turned, slipping through gaps no one thought possible. Their laughter returned over comms, soft, mocking, almost musical. "Impressive," muttered Lieutenant Core, one of Varlan's best tacticians. "They are reading us, predicting our moves." Varlan's eyes narrowed. "No, they are ignoring us, as if we do not exist." The frustration in his voice was clear, his confidence cracking like thin ice. A sudden alarm blared in the human flagship, signaling an incoming probe from the Empire. Mara's crew barely glanced at it. "Let it come," she said. "We are ready for everything." The probe passed through their formation, scanning, recording, trying to find weaknesses, but found none. Varlan's fury grew as the humans continued to evade every attack. Every strategy he deployed failed before it could even begin. He could feel the tension spreading across his fleet, officers whispering in corners, doubting their orders, questioning the plan. On the human side, Mara laughed again, leaning back. "They really think fear will work. Don't they understand? Humans don't scare easily." Her crew smiled, a strange mix of humor and deadly precision in their eyes. Every move they made seemed playful, yet calculated. Then, Mara issued a new command: prepare the decoy drones. Small, fast ships launched from the main fleet, scattering in unpredictable paths. The Empire's ships fired wildly, trying to hit the decoys, wasting precious energy and attention, each misfeeding the humans' amusement. Varlin slammed his fist against the console, the first hint of panic creeping into his voice. Focus. Do not let them distract you. But every maneuver the Empire attempted seemed to be anticipated. The humans moved like a single entity, connected, coordinated, yet casual. A flicker of doubt grew in Varlin's mind. Could a race so young and underestimated truly challenge the Galactic Empire? His officers avoided his gaze, sensing his uncertainty. And somewhere deep in the nebular expanse, human laughter echoed, clear and fearless. The first engagement had begun, yet no shots were fired. The battle was already a test of nerves, patience, and skill, and the humans were winning it without even trying to strike. Mara watched the enemy fleet struggle, and thought, let them try to scare us. They will learn that laughter is the first weapon of humans. Humans strike Biasakatha. Nebula shimmered with strange colors, clouds of gas twisting around the human fleet. Commander Varlin's ships bristled with weapons, energy cores humming louder with every passing second. We cannot let them mock us like this, he growled. Target their main ship. But the humans were ready. Captain Mora watched calmly as the Empire's largest cruiser swung into position. Its massive cannons aimed to obliterate the human flagship. Let them come, Mara said, almost smiling. This is what we trained for. The Empire fired first, energy beams tearing through the void. But the humans twisted their ships with impossible agility, dodging every shot, leaving streaks of light behind them. The Empire officers stared in disbelief. How were they moving like that? They should be destroyed. Mara activated the next phase. Small human fighters launched from hidden bays, darting like lightning through the Empire fleet. They struck sensors, disabled shields, and vanished before the enemy could respond. Hit and fade, Mara whispered. Never give them a target. Varlin's hands shook slightly. Rage and confusion battling inside him. Increase firepower. Focus everything on the humans. But the humans only laughed over the comms. Their voices calm, confident, almost mocking. The Empire's fleet faltered under the unrelenting agility of their enemy. Then, Mara ordered a risky move. Split formation. Each ship go silent and flank them from behind. Her crew executed flawlessly, their ships vanishing into the nebula clouds, reappearing where the Empire least expected. Sensors couldn't track them, weapons couldn't lock on. Suddenly, the Empire cruiser's shields flickered, warning alarms blaring as systems failed. Impossible, Varlin shouted, slamming the console. We have the numbers. We should overwhelm them. But numbers did not matter when humans moved unpredictably. Every move deliberate, every strike precise. Mara's fleet surrounded the Empire cruiser, not to destroy, but to show power, to demonstrate control. We don't need to kill you to win, Mara said quietly. Humans are not easily intimidated. The crew laughed softly, watching the Empire struggle, their arrogance turning to panic. The Empire's ships tried to regroup, forming a wall of fire and steel. But humans slipped through gaps no strategy had accounted for. Their confidence was contagious, and even minor officers began whispering doubts. Perhaps we underestimated them, one said. We cannot match their coordination. Varlin clenched his jaw, realization dawning slowly. The humans were not merely survivors, they were innovators, fighters who thrived under pressure. His confidence wavered, his tactics failing. Every maneuver countered by calm, fearless laughter. And as the humans executed their maneuvers with precision, Mara looked at the stars ahead, thinking, this is only the beginning. She knew the Empire had underestimated human courage and intelligence, underestimated the will to survive, and to laugh in the face of fear. The nebula expanse, once a battlefield of intimidation, had become a stage, humans controlling the dance, showing the galaxy that bravery and cleverness could defy even the greatest power. And somewhere deep in the void, the Empire realized for the first time that humans were not ordinary. Turning the TIB lest the Empire's fleet faltered, systems overheating, weapons misfiring, alarms blaring across every ship. Commander Varlin's frustration grew with every second. They cannot keep this up forever. Focus your fire. But the humans were already 2 steps ahead, anticipating every move. Captain Mara smiled, her eyes scanning the holographic battlefield. Now, she whispered, and the human fleet surged forward, coordinated and precise. Smaller ships darted between the Empire's massive cruisers, striking weak points they hadn't even noticed. Sensors jammed, shields flickered, confusion spread like wildfire. Varlin slammed his fist on the console. Fury and disbelief etched on his face. Impossible. They should be running. They should fear us. But fear did not exist in the humans. Only laughter and confidence. They moved like predators. Calm, deliberate, unshakable. Mara's flagship led the charge. Her crew expertly hacking into the Empire's auxiliary systems, turning their own weapons against them. Lights blinked erratically on Varlin's control panels, ships spinning out of formation. And yet the humans did not fire a single destructive shot. They showed power without killing, and it terrified the Empire. Focus on flanking, Mara ordered, her voice calm, almost playful. Small human ships darted around the massive cruisers, disabling engines, communication arrays, even minor turrets. The Empire struggled to coordinate, their confidence shattered by the audacity of these humans. Varlin's advisors whispered nervously, "They are laughing at us." One officer tried to hide a tremor in his voice. "They are not just surviving, they are leading the fight." Varlin's jaw clenched, and for the first time, he wondered if he had underestimated the humans. Mara tapped the console, initiating the final phase. "Prepare to encircle, but keep pressure minimal." Her crew executed flawlessly. Human ships forming a perfect circle around the largest Empire cruiser. They didn't destroy it, but they immobilized it, showing control, dominance, and skill. The Empire officers stared at the screens in disbelief. Their massive fleet had been outmaneuvered by a smaller, underestimated human force. Varlin's confidence crumbled. We cannot break them," he admitted quietly, swallowing his pride. And then, as predicted, the humans laughed, clear, fearless, filling the void of space, a sound that echoed through comms and psyche alike. Mara's crew joined in, a chorus of laughter that carried courage, defiance, and skill. Humans had turned the tables without firing a shot to kill, only to demonstrate their strength. The nebula expanse, once a place of Empire intimidation, had become a showcase of human ingenuity, bravery, and coordination. And in that moment, Mara realized the galaxy would never underestimate humans again. They had taken fear, uncertainty, and intimidation and transformed it into a stage to shine. Varlin's eyes burned with a mix of anger and reluctant respect. "They are extraordinary," he muttered, the first sign of acknowledgement. And the humans, laughing freely, prepared to retreat, knowing the Empire would think twice before challenging them again. The battlefield quieted slightly, but the echoes of laughter and awe remained. The humans had shown not just skill, but spirit, not just strength, but unity. And for every Empire officer watching, the message was clear. Humans were not to be intimidated, mocked, or dismissed. Human trumph. The nebula expanse was quiet now, but the Empire's fleet was in chaos. Systems offline, cruisers spinning slowly, officers panicking. Commander Varlin stared at the main screen, disbelief and anger twisting his features. They did this without killing us," he whispered, almost lost for words. Captain Mara's fleet moved with precision. Not a single human ship lost, not a single life wasted. Their mission had been simple: show strength, unity, and intelligence, and they had succeeded brilliantly. "Hold formation, prepare to leave," Mara ordered, her voice calm but triumphant. Her crew grinned, still laughing softly, enjoying the moment. The Empire scrambled to regroup, trying to restore order, but every attempt failed. The humans had exploited weaknesses no one had anticipated. Every maneuver had been calculated, every strike a lesson in strategy, confidence, and teamwork. Varlin's officers whispered among themselves, "We were beaten, without a single direct attack." One muttered, "We underestimated them completely." Another officer nodded grimly, "We cannot forget this lesson. Humans are different." Mara's ships began to glide away from the nebula, leaving the stunned Empire fleet behind. Her flagship's engines flared as she sent one last message to the Empire. Simple and clear: humans are not afraid. Humans do not bow. Humans laugh in the face of danger. The Empire received it in silence, the words echoing across every ship. Varlin stared at the comm screen, clenched fists trembling, a rare admission forming in his mind. Humans were not just a nuisance, they were a force to be respected, feared in their own way. As the human fleet disappeared into the starry expanse, Mara looked at her crew, proud and calm. Today, we showed the galaxy who we are, she said, not through fear, not through brute force, but through courage, intelligence, and laughter. Her crew cheered softly, the sound strong and unwavering. The Empire would recover, regroup, and return. Mara knew that, but today, humans had set a precedent. Today, they had rewritten the rules of engagement, showing that a smaller, underestimated force could stand against the mightiest empire and win. The nebula expanse became a symbol, a story whispered across systems, of humans who laughed in the face of overwhelming odds, of courage and cunning, of unity and spirit. And somewhere deep in the Empire, Commander Varlan would never forget. The humans had taught him a lesson no weapon could. And as Mara's fleet disappeared into the infinite stars, the galaxy realized something profound. Humans were not to be intimidated, mocked, or ignored. Humans were unstoppable. The aftermath, and the LEJC, with a human fleet, vanished into the distant stars, leaving the Empire fleet in stunned silence. Commander Varlan's flagship floated like a wounded giant. Systems damaged, morale shattered. He stared at the space ahead, a mixture of anger and reluctant respect brewing inside him. Humans, they are not ordinary, he muttered. Across the galaxy, news of the encounter spread. Whispers in spaceports, messages in command halls, stories of humans who had laughed in the face of the greatest empire, defying fear, showing unity, and turning the impossible into reality. It became legend almost instantly. Back on the human flagship, Captain Mara looked at her crew, the stars reflecting in their determined eyes. "This is just the beginning," she said. "The galaxy thinks it knows humans, but it has no idea what we can do." The crew smiled, confident, ready for whatever came next. The Empire would recover, of course, but the memory of this defeat lingered. Varlan knew it. His officers whispered about the human strategy, their courage, and their laughter. Something inside the Empire had changed. The humans had proven that even the mightiest power could be outsmarted, outmaneuvered, and outwitted. And somewhere, in a quiet corner of space, human colonies celebrated, sending cheers and stories across networks. They laughed at the Empire. One child exclaimed, "They didn't even fire to kill." Others nodded, eyes wide with pride. The humans had become more than warriors today. They had become symbols, legends, hope. Captain Mara watched the stars ahead, thinking about the future. "They will underestimate us again," she said softly. "But we will be ready. We will always be ready." The crew laughed quietly, a sound full of courage, unity, and promise. The galaxy had learned one truth: humans were unpredictable, unstoppable, and unbroken. And as the stars stretched into infinity, a new chapter began. Humans would return stronger, wiser, their laughter echoing across the void. The Empire had met them once, but the human story had only just begun. The galaxy would never forget the day humans laughed in the face of fear, and one